Welcome. You've discovered the Paraspective, where your hosts Huck, J-Lo, and Shaggy discuss their thoughts, theories, and opinions on all things paranormal. This is an adult-rated podcast. Some topics of discussion may be offensive. Listener discretion advised.
Yo, what up, Paraheads? I'm Shaggy, and I'm here with my co-hosts,
J-Lo
and
Huck.
And we're part of the paranormal investigation team known as the Para-holiX, and we're here to give you our Paraspective. Now let's get this para party started. This is the pilot episode. This, gentlemen, it is happening. This is the first episode of the Paraspective. Now, what we want to talk about in this podcast, basically for the listeners' sake, is basically what they can expect from this podcast. We want to tell them just how bad it's going to... No, let's get that right out of the way. Nah, it's just...
Well, if the PairUcast is any indication of what our podcast is like, then it's not looking good.
Oh, on iTunes.
Going forward... I'm not worried about the subscribers. We just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, we want quite a following.
But there is a huge change.
Hello, people.
Yes.
I'm Huck, and this is my not only pilot episode for the Para-holiX, but this is my pilot episode, period. Because I have been MIA.
He's a virgin.
You mean the Paraspective?
Yes, Paraspective.
You've been a Para-holic for a while.
Damn it all, jeez. Yes, my Paraspective.
It's basically we're all members of the Para-holiX paranormal team, and we've got 7+ years in the game, I guess, something like that.
And like 4 names.
Yeah,
4 names later, nobody knows who we are still.
We'll exclude all that.
But the team basically consists of there's how many members are we claiming?
We
6
have
members.
How many are we claiming?
We're 6
We
members.
have the core 4, and we have 2 backups. They're bench warmers. What are we going to call them?
We have my wife Tina, who she's an investigator, and then we have Roy, aka Monster,
and Nick the Coon, who will hopefully someday join us at the round square table here to be a part of this, because he was always the guy who wanted to do the podcasting. But due to job and schedule, he can't do a whole lot of anything, basically.
Yeah, and we might be able to fit him in, courtesy of listening to Mysterious Boom, who I'd like to give a shout out to, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Those guys do remote guest from the car. I've actually heard them do it from the car remotely, so. Not to say we couldn't do something like that down the road.
That was
for those
Kevin.
guys.
He's actually a member of the podcast, and he was calling from his car. So there's got to be a way where we could not only, have co-host. We don't always have to be in the studio together, but we could maybe eventually even do guests. Because Nick brought up the idea. With the phone. Yeah, we actually could just call in speaker. I don't know what the quality would sound like, But Nick talked about, as far as his contribution, he could actually, get guests lined up, and he would finally take on the Twitter, which I forgot we actually have a Twitter.
Oh, wow.
We don't have a Paraspective Twitter, but we could. We have a Para-holiX Twitter, but
and there's plenty of people out there that do this other little thing called, what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank.
It's a very little thing.
It's a very little.
Must not be that
important.
Skype?
Yeah, Skype.
Yeah.
That thing. Skype. Damn it.
I had a feeling that's what you're being. I'm just going to see how long we can drag that.
I was Skype all the way up to when I opened my mouth and I went blank.
He's like, Skype.
You got Skyped, dude.
Thanks, Lyrica.
Yeah.
That's the inside joke.
But basically, what we were going to talk about is what the podcast is going to be about. And the Paraspective is a play on the, what do they call it? A play on words, but it's basically our paranormal perspective. The Paraspective.
And we all have our own perspective.
Exactly.
We all have our own experiences. We all have our own little thought on what we're looking for and what we're searching for.
Mm-hmm.
And we might be out doing an investigation, and one of us think we're chasing demons, the other one thinks we're talking to angels, and the other one thinks we're crazy, because Shaggy's still yet to have an experience. So
I'm working on
he's
it.
our resident skeptic. So
I don't know.
You guys know, going into this,
I would have to say,
Yeah.
John is probably, Mr. J-Lo here is probably a bigger skeptic than I am. Or at the very least, we probably think on the same level. I get, during investigations, if you watch our videos, you're going to see me get excited as everybody else does. That's where we differ. He doesn't get excited. I remember when we were at Yorktown and that door, or whatever it was, we're going to say it was a door because that's what it sounded like, slammed. And we all heard it. We're like, oh my God, dude. And we go straight into Aaron mode from Ghost Adventures. We go upstairs. We're looking around. We don't see anything. But I turned to John and I said, dude, what did you think about that? And he's like, I heard it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah.
He is still alive.
Yep. He does not get excited. Unless the curtain rod gets ripped out of the wall while G is standing near him with a Polaroid to flash in his face.
But that's only video. That's only video. Yeah,
right,
that's only video.
True. That's true.
It still didn't make a sound. It just looked like he was excited.
Yeah, so did it actually happen?
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
So
it didn't make a sound.
From our Paraspective point of view, what do y'all see, as far as the podcast, the direction it'll take and what we're going to talk about?
I think a lot of it's going to entail us playing catch up, I think, because starting out, we have a lot of prior experience already. We've done investigations, we've been out there, we've gone to places people, all over the internet talk about going to. We've gone to some of those popular places, and we've interacted with those places. We have proof. We have video. I think what we need to do is we need to bring our listeners up to speed on a lot of those investigations.
Yeah.
And they'll be new to you guys listening at home. For us, some of them seem like they were just yesterday, and some of them seem like they were years ago when they were just yesterday.
Saturday,
Yeah, like they were just yesterday. But I think at some point we do need to play catch up, so that people can understand too where our background comes from and what we believe.
And some of them were online last year and are getting pulled and pushed online again this year to where people could actually see them.
So what you're saying is we're moving our videos from a dead channel over to another channel that actually gets more. A
channel that had a total. We had been, I don't know, a couple of years, that Para-holiX channel, the original one. It had 450 views, say, for the
whole thing.
100 plus videos.
Not per video.
Yeah, total.
Good
videos.
Lord.
Some of them still had 0 views.
Wow.
When I look today, to the channel we're at now with, I don't know, a couple 100,000.
We're getting no love.
Views. But the
So
subscriber
hopefully that'll
count
change.
is
And
much higher.
streamlining everything, that when we just moved everything to Para-holiX, website, everything.
And plus this is a good time for the listeners, and it's a good time for us because we're starting to join forces with other groups locally, and this is something new for us. We're starting to branch out. We're starting to couple with JP, Just Paranormal, with Mysterious Boom and those guys.
Yeah, Huck and the gang over there. Like to also, we're shouting out people. We can't forget about the Ectoplasm Show with Josh and Jason. These guys. They're the ones that help put. Jason. I've been talking to him a lot, and he's like, why don't y'all do a podcast? And I'm like, we kind of did at the time. We had the PairUcast, but.
And then it was like, why aren't you on iTunes?
Yeah.
Everybody were like, because we didn't have Huck around.
Yeah. Thank you, Huck.
Yeah.
Big props. Big shouts out to Huck
For
Green. Because,
is it Huck or Hook?
Hookah?
Hookah? Yeah, I think so. No, I think it's Huck.
Okay.
Huck Green. I believe that's how it's.
We might have to get him on and to give us the formal pronunciation.
Have to have the whole gang on, dude. Kevin and Kel and Karen, who's also a investigator with Just Paranormal. So she pulled it off, dude. You gotta give it to her, man. She's with 2 separate teams, 1 podcast, 1 investigation team.
Oh yeah,
she knows what she's doing.
Still finds time to do background checks on all these places they go to.
She's a beast when it comes to research.
I thought you were saying still has time to review footage.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no.
No one has time for that. Watching paint dry. But also, can't forget about Hugh's wife, Christy, and she is a trip, dude. She is scared of all these places. But her laugh alone, dude, will...
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's infectious.
Definitely.
But, man, for real, I mean, you're right. This is the perfect time because we have started branching out with other people, and there's more. We've got Lacey, Ghost Girly. She's got a lot of things lined up. She's part of what they call it, a TAPS family member, so that's big. Ghost Hunter family right there. So she's got a lot of places that she's trying to work with. Maybe we can go do things. And
speaking of TAPS, remember when we were out and that officer pulled us over? Are y'all from TAPS?
Oh, yeah. First he asked him, are y'all ghost hunters? Because he saw the gear in the back of the car. And then he followed that up with, are y'all TAPS? Yeah, we should have been like, yeah.
So the minute we said, no, we're just ghost hunters, he's like,
oh, yeah.
No parking on this road. No, what did he say? No congregating.
No,
move along or something.
Do you have a permit?
Yeah, he asked for
I did ask for the permit.
This ain't no hangout or something like
that.
Yeah,
that's it. This ain't no hangout.
So I guess if we would have been, but which one of us was going to play of the ghost hunters? Which one of us would have been? There was, one of them's gone now. He's not part of the team anymore, but two plumbers.
We all have hair, so that would have been.
Oh, that's right.
That dude.
Jeez. Some of us have. Jason Haas. Yeah,
he's bald.
That would have been.
That's
true.
For us
we couldn't have pulled that off. And some of us have unique hair, shall we say?
Purple. To the listeners, Shaggy's our resident freak. I was born with red hair. I have an excuse. He, on the other hand, is blue and purple right now.
The riff-raff of the paranormal. Sean will like that reference.
Yeah.
So that's just paranormal right there. You got JP, you got Sean, the EVP hitman. JP is our leader. His boy John.
Is their leader sound like it's a cult or something?
He is. He has a kind of a cult-esque.
Roman.
Yeah, Roman, the cameraman.
Yep. And
Shannon, who's probably still recovering from getting called out by something at that hospital. It called him out by name.
Yeah, we'll have to give you guys the lowdown on this last investigation.
That's coming up. That's going to be the next episode, I believe.
And because we do have a lot to touch base on, and I know there's a lot of experiences we want to share with you guys, but we want to kind of move forward from this point and talk about some more current stuff that's happened. So in the next podcast, we want to bring you up to speed on the investigation we just had in Palestine, Texas, with Just Paranormal.
Right.
And pretty successful investigation. I wouldn't say it was action-packed per se, but we did have some incidents.
Not for us, but apparently everybody else had some. We'll talk about that in the next episode.
Next episode.
Like, John, what else do you think? What else do you see us talking about on this podcast?
Paranormal.
I try to pull John in.
The man of many words.
Sometimes I feel like I don't want to be the only one talking. Now I got you, so you'll talk a lot too. But I don't. I want to get John's perspective.
The next episode wasn't gonna have much of me. I wasn't at the.
But
on location with y'all.
Yes, but as an outside person, I want to get your opinion and thoughts and ideas on what we experienced, preferably what the other people experienced. And we'll discuss. We can start by discussing what it is, and then you could say, you're more of a grounded position because you weren't there, so you can look at it from the outsider position,
a neutral perspective.
A neutral perspective, exactly. But as far as this podcast go, not only do I see us. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, think of Ancient Aliens. They kind of cover a bunch of. That's how eventually we wanted to get to, right?
Exactly.
When we started years ago, when we had the dual camera set up over here, and this was the movie room.
Right.
Remember when that failed because you didn't let me talk?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then we went to the PairUcast eventually years later because we found a way to do it.
Look, guys, be honest. I hate dead air. And if someone ain't talking, you can bet I'm going to be. So I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, you got to get in where you fit in with this guy. Look, I've spent I've known this guy since '94.
Oh, good
23 years. And me and him met. I was working at a bike shop in Baytown, and he came in, him and his brother. And since the get-go, I've had to fight for every minute I can get to talk. Because he's like, how old are you now? 70? And you're like an 18-year-old running track. It's like,
it's the ADHD, man. It's also infected my brain.
And
apparently my mouth. So.
It kind of helps though, because it carries my dead weight. Because I've got 1 foot in the grave. I'm 70 myself.
You're closer to the paranormal.
Yeah.
Now speaking of that, now that's one thing we got to discuss. What does the paranormal mean to us? What will our paraspective be? Because my take is, and we've talked about this before in other things we've done, where the word paranormal to me, and this is one of my pet peeves. I hate when you hear other, podcasters or shows where they'll name off paranormal stuff and they'll say UFOs, cryptids, the paranormal. It's all paranormal. What are you talking about? So they're implying by that anything that's ghost or poltergeist or demonic, that's paranormal, and these other things are UFOs or cryptids. No. It's all paranormal.
Abnormal or
yeah.
unnormal.
Right. So that's one thing we got to get right out the gate, is that we see the if you envision the paranormal as an umbrella, we see a lot more underneath that umbrella than other people apparently do.
Like J.Lo said, everything not normal. Everything that you would not classify as normal day-to-day life is considered paranormal. Whether it's interaction with something moving and it wasn't supposed to, to a Bigfoot sighting, to something in the sky. I mean, everyone sees stuff in the sky. I mean, but that doesn't always mean it's normal. I had experiences that I'm sure we'll have a podcast one day where we'll talk about UFOs and things of that nature, and I have plenty of experiences to go off of from that.
What is a UFO?
It's an unidentified flying object.
Yeah, it's something that's flying that you can't identify, and it's an object. Doesn't mean it's from Alpha Centauri and it's full of butt probing aliens.
Pleiades.
It just means it's something it could be top secret craft or whatever. But the idea is that we will look at all these different types of paranormal topics and we will give our paraspective on them, as well as a segment that we want to do called a Para-analysis, where we'll even go a step further and take hopefully at least one for every episode, where we'll look at a video clip, a photo, a story, something like that, maybe an audio clip, whatever it is. Now, because of copyright issues, there'll be we won't be able to, if we do a video version it goes to YouTube, that's one thing, but you can't do that with audio anyway. But we would discuss that particular piece and give our Para-analysis of it, basically.
I mean, we could put a link in the description.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they could go check out what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think, but at the same time, I think what you're trying to get at for this podcast is I think is a good time too to talk about what our take on it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told people this, over the years, that my idea of the paranormal, as far as ghost apparitions and things of that nature, they have, in my opinion, two roots. They come from two different possibilities. One is, like I've described before, if you've ever seen plasma television, if you ever owned one, how a TV program can be burned into the screen. Mm-hmm. I sometimes believe that what people experience as apparitions or ghosts, poltergeist, is just a playback of somebody. Right. If they've lived somewhere for 25 years, it was their home. Say, John, you live here for that long, and you get up from that couch and you go to that refrigerator every day, and it kind of gets burned in time, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And so you pass away, unfortunately, and then your wife sees you get up and go walk through that doorway. She would want to interact with you, but there's possibilities she can't because you're just a playback. Right. And the other one would be... Maybe
it's because my energy, I'm moving my energy within the same path.
And it gets burned into that path. And so when
what do they call that? That's
residual.
Residual. I was like, I know this, but...
Residual.
I just drew it. Yeah, exactly.
That's it. John just said residual.
Wait, no. It's called residual.
It's residual. Yeah. And it's para-residual.
Para-residual. Para-residual? Is that a thing?
Okay, now
we just invented that.
Yeah, we just made up a word.
We're going to make up a lot of words, by the way. That's also a thing we tend to do.
Yeah, because I'll get tired towards the end of the podcast and start to babble anyway. And
so faux shizzle.
You won't understand nothing else.
we can go throwback and be like, para-residual.
Para-residual?
Okay, now we're trailing. Yeah. So my second idea is more along the lines of the alien interaction. I wouldn't even call it biblical or Christianity related at all, or it's more of an I would consider it like an alien presence. You know, a lot of people think it's angels around us and things like that, but I personally believe that something, an outside force, and you might even call it an outside source, is bringing something into our wavelength.
A parasource?
A parasource.
Parasaurus Rex.
creating a parawavelength. And we're interacting with these. We tend to, like how people always say, "Oh, I saw a shadow of the corner of my eye." You always hear that, right? I mean, that's everybody's go-to thing. Well, I think I saw a ghost one time out of the corner of my eye. I hear everybody say that.
Yeah.
And so what they're seeing is either something fabricated in their own mind, or they're seeing that outside source, whether it's alien or whatever.
Flakes caught in their eyelash. I mean,
whatever. It could be the heavy makeup you wear around your eyes, for example. All the mascara you wear.
That's some shadowing right there.
Yeah. And so that's my opinion. And as far as the cryptids go and all that, I mean, they are what they are. They're animals. And you said yourself you feel like they're all tied together with like Shadow Man.
I was just gonna
and all that.
that.
So who is to say that they couldn't be from a larger plan where aliens come here and they bring all this stuff with them and we interact with all of it.
Right.
I
heard a podcast just the other night when they were talking about this. They didn't call it what we're calling it, but it was the same basic idea of the paranormal unified field theory, which would suggest that all these things are connected in some way. We just hadn't figured out how yet. There's a science involved here. It's really normal, but we don't understand it, therefore it's paranormal to us. But they all may be related, and they all may not be what they appear to be. So Bigfoot, ghosts, aliens may not be what the image that we've portrayed on them. They may be something else entirely, but I believe it is all connected in some way. You hear too many reports, where, there's a Bigfoot sighting, and they saw strange lights in the sky. And then they got home and they had, poltergeist activity in their home. And they were missing time.
And they had terror. They had a
and
night
their
terror
butt
that
hurt
night.
for 3 days.
They had a night terror and they couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
They look up and they're being raped by Bigfoot.
But you don't. Yeah, exactly. But the investigators are so. What's the word I'm looking for here? Where they have their own particular specialty, right?
Sure.
There's another word but I can't think what it is. But they focus in. They're a narrow view, a narrow vision, tunnel vision, right? And they can only focus on their particular aspect of it. If they are a cryptid hunter and researcher, that's all they want to hear about. They don't want to hear about the lights in the sky. They don't want to hear about doors opening and closing in your house, even though all of it's happened at around the same time frame, and obviously it would appear to be connected. They don't care about that. That's for the ghost hunters and the ufologists. We only want to hear about Bigfoot.
Well, look at what is the ranch in Arizona? Is it the alien ranch or the UFO ranch? What's it called?
What?
We're all pointing at John like he's gonna know.
There's a ranch in Arizona where the guy has had interaction with aliens.
Oh, he's had everything.
But he had poltergeist activity in his home first.
Yeah.
And then he interacted with aliens. To me, that ties it all together.
Oh, that's driving me crazy, dude.
What is it called?
People are screaming right now.
Yeah, they're over there.
Yeah, Para-ranch. Para-ranch dressing for your salad.
So
if you in Arizona.
If you're a listener right now and you know the name of this place, just comment
Let us know,
at the bottom because we're all deadheads.
What the hell?
You can only comment on YouTube though. Sorry.
Bigelow, isn't it Bigelow's?
Deuce.
Deuce Bigelow. No, the aerospace guy. He owns the place.
Yeah.
And he had a paranormal team, NIDS. I can't remember what it stands for, but they were out there for a while. But it's called.
I know what it's called.
Oh, God bless America!
What's funny about it is the guy had all this interaction. Like he had a sword that they took DNA off of because he actually said he chopped the head off of one of them. And whenever they checked the DNA that was left on the blade, it came back as chlorophyll, which is plant life.
Right.
So,
yeah. which I don't know if that's what spawned it, but there's a theory that Bigfoot's actually a plant-based organism. He's actually Swamp Thing roaming around the woods. He's got that swamp ass going on.
So to get back to our podcast and what the whole idea of this was, is we were trying to give you, the listener, the understanding of, we want to investigate everything paranormal. We're not going to be closed-minded. We're not going to not ever talk about Bigfoot, and we're not going to never talk about UFOs. I have more experiences than all of us combined to not let that happen. So we just want this podcast to appeal to everybody. And I think it will. I think it can. I think we will talk about every aspect of the paranormal world, and again, we'll take suggestions too.
Actually, the podcast is over. I'm gonna end it right now. If I can't think of the name of that stupid ranch, it's driving me crazy. I have a book about it. Sorry, go ahead. What?
Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
You have Google. You can look it up on your phone.
Here, I'll do it right now.
God.
Robert Bigelow. Is it Robert? No.
I don't know, dude.
Mike. Paul,
Jones?
maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
George.
Michael.
That's driving me crazy, dude. Yeah, I gotta know. I have to know. Sorry, everybody. We're looking this up.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker, but that's not what the place is actually. That's the name of the book, actually. That was the book I was trying to think of. But there was another name, I think, for it. But yeah, or maybe that. Well, that's it. Regardless,
it's Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, it's very famous.
Stardust is
Stardust?
Stardust Ranch. That's what I kept trying to think of.
Oh, no. I think I was thinking of Skinwalker. That's what it was.
Okay. It's where Ghost Adventures went. But it's Stardust, and the guy is John Edmonds.
He was the guy that the rancher that owned it, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that place, I would love to go out to that place. It had everything. Everything that we would consider paranormal, and then some. From portals opening, interdimensional beings. They had giant wolf-like creatures that they could shoot till chunks would fall off of it, but it didn't seem to bother it. It just kind of walked around like nothing.
And that goes back to the old Native American legend of
the Skinwalker, which
shapeshifters,
is like shape-shifting witch doctor thing of
turn into a werewolf and
something. Yeah, that's crazy stories. But that whole area is supposed to be full of that. But anyhow, back on track.
Yeah, we trolled a little bit, but that was the whole point.
So getting back to John. Yes, continue. No, what is your perspective, John?
On
anything.
Well, that's pretty broad.
I'm setting him up.
But as far as all of us go, I'm the one who I remain calm when everybody else is freaking out, going crazy.
You've also not had experience like me. We haven't had those real experiences.
Because I automatically assume in my mind that it's not anything from the outside world, it's natural.
Right.
Everything. That's automatically what I think of, because I assume we're not going to capture what we want.
Right. Now we're kind of going into what we do as a paranormal team, basically. And yeah, that is kind of how we, I kind of look at it the same way. I go into every investigation expecting nothing to happen.
Like when we were at, Monsters Place, Hotel Rideland, as we know now.
Yeah, right. That's cool.
When we had the door closed, we didn't think paranormal.
We thought somebody was in there with us.
Yeah, that's immediately what we thought.
Yeah,
but clearly there wasn't, and so you have to draw back to the original idea while you're there.
Yeah, I have to admit that was something that I can't explain. I mean, we clearly heard a door open and close. That squeaky sound, you even heard the door close thud part of it. And the only door that made that noise was dead bolted, right?
Yeah.
And
it's the main door we go in, right. And there's wind chimes.
That plastic, ugly wind chime thing that to get it to squeak. It would have heard those click-clacking things, and you'd have heard that to the house. We didn't hear that part. So I guess we were forced to, assume, I guess, that it was a residual sound, like energy, like what you were talking about, Huck, but it was from a time where those plastic chimes weren't there. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I would have to label that paranormal, but it's, we don't, one thing we never do is we never say something's proof positive of the paranormal. We'll say it's an anomaly, and then we put it in that basket.
Yeah, because
that's
it
all
may
we can
present
do.
itself to us later on, you know.
Right.
Oh, why didn't we think of that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, being spur of the moment, man. I mean, your mind runs wild sometimes, you know. It's
Yeah.
hard to... But that's the good point of us having a large team, you know, and being different aspects.
Varied
and
personalities
exactly,
and styles.
You know, and the fact that we're all investigators.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all historians, so to speak. We all partake in this in our team, and that's what I like about it. We're all interactive, and we all, you know, we don't have leads this and lead that.
Right.
We go in, we all investigate. If somebody has an idea or they think something, we pursue it. You know, we go after it.
I still see you as a historian, though.
I still see myself
Tina.
as a lead cameraman.
And you're a cameraman. Because
tech guy.
Personally, I prefer doing it the way we did this last one, where we went in blind. We had no idea. You know what I'm saying? But this one's coming up. How we've been about 30 minutes on it. This is just a pilot. So I hope basically you were able to get an idea of what this podcast is going to be like, what you can expect from us going forward. You know, talking about our paranormal perspectives on things, as well as telling you about investigations and what we've done. You know, experiences had.
And we'll always, you know, come back to stories and to local and to recent stuff in the news, you know, of events, current events, so to speak.
Latest hot topics.
And so you as a listener will always be able to follow along with us. You know, we want you to feel like part of our podcast, and when you're listening to us speak about a subject or a current event or something that's in the news, you'll be able to relate. You know, that's important to me because I like it myself when I listen to a podcast, and I'm able to follow along and be like, oh yeah, I just heard about that, and I've read up on this. So we're going to talk about stuff that's in the mainstream media news, but we're going to also, from time to time, take you along on our investigations.
Right. We would like to do live on location recordings at some point.
Right.
Where the possibility presents itself. You know, that last place, that wasn't a good location for that. No. But also, you know, we're on all social media platforms with the exception of Twitter, basically, but that may happen as well. And as a listener, if you have any thoughts or opinions or ideas, stories you'd like us to talk about, you know, hit us up.
And just for the listeners, so you know who we are, my name is Huck. I'm Lee Edwards is my name. The team members we mentioned earlier is Tina Edwards. She's also an investigator. Is my wife. And then we have Shaggy, a.k.a. Daniel Dunn.
Yes, sir.
Danny the man. And then J-Lo, John Lopez. He is our camera tech guy. And the guy, if you go and watch some of the past videos on our YouTube page, he has probably more tech videos and how-tos than we have investigations under our belt.
How-tos and everything.
But if you go to our website, I actually have links to all of our Facebook pages, our personal pages. Yep. Scroll down to the bottom, it'll just, you know, have the members and everything. And
this podcast will even have a link on the website, won't it? Eventually, or already does, or
the podcast. Well, within iTunes, you can't click anything, but it'll show you. Like I could put it in the description, but you can't click it.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll show
but when
where
it's
to
on
go.
YouTube, I can have a clickable link.
Okay.
That'll take you places.
So what we're going to do to listeners is we're going to try to bring you a podcast. We'd like to do one a week. I don't know how reasonable that is starting off, but at least once every 2 weeks. And there's plenty for you to go watch on our YouTube page, and you know, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and like I said, this is going to be the Para-holiX, Team Para-holiX podcast, and this is our Paraspective, and
this is the start of something big.
And
that's what she said.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
And hopefully we'll bring y'all a good laugh from time to time. We tend to be funny.
We don't promise that though.
We
think we're funny.
So for now, this is it. We're gonna say goodbye, and we appreciate you listening, and hopefully we'll have you another podcast here real soon, and we'll talk about some investigations we've done recently. So for now, I'm Huck, and I'm gonna say peace.
Later. Yeah.
And there's J-Lo, and next episode we should actually have more of a topic discussion versus kind of
be a little more structured.
Yeah.
And I've been Shaggy. Peace out, everybody.
Later, peeps.
Paraheads. Once again, thanks for listening to us ramble on. I'm Shaggy, and I'm addicted to the paranormal, also reminding you to question everything and believe very little.
And I'm Huck, and I'm addicted to the paranormal as well, also reminding you that conspiracy happens, and that's not a theory. Keep it paranormal, people.
This is J-Lo speaking, and I'm addicted to the paranormal. And we would like to take the time to thank our sponsor, Para-holiX Anonymous, where it's okay to be addicted to all of us.